for July 2025. Sorry, just kind of revamping things. All right, so what I see for you, Aries, and I'm out of power, so sorry if I kind of rush through. I'll try to be as clear as I can about it. This is actually, so first off, how I do my readings is I just read the original cards out that I see, and of course we are looking at the Four of Wands. So that does indicate we are looking at stability, home front, something along that line. Could be dealing with family or a milestone or celebration. We'll kind of clarify everything as we go along, but I read the initial out first, and then we'll go through all the details as through the clarifiers toward the end. May or may not be your story. Certainly, you don't all make a decision on a Monday or a Wednesday, so some of you may find this information a little further out as being more relevant. And if it's not your story, it's not your story. Okay, so we'll start out Four of Wands. As I mentioned, we are looking at something that deals with levels of stability, family life, that kind of thing. But overall, it's a positive card. Now, we also have some other cards here that kind of speak to some positivity for you as well in this month. But I do want to say that there is one little area where it does appear that there's a little bit of concern, or at least, attention to it. Not extreme, but it is something that just to be able to. So when we look at the Four of Wands, like I said, this can be dealing with your home front, this can be dealing with lands, can be dealing with stability, but whatever it is, still feeling grounded, you feeling like, times are pretty good and you're feeling safe, secure, that kind of, and enjoy yourself, and certainly family, friends, that kind of thing. Now, it is followed up Wheel of Fortune, so there could be some of a big shift or a change in around that area. And without just kind of going too far into it, the Ace of Swords does reveal some kind of information or something that's coming through around the home front, or at least relevant to the home front, is going to be coming in this month. So I do feel like overall, this, the Four of Wands does still speak to some kind of stability overall. So your security is something that you're waiting on news or something like that that's going to be in here. And again, this could be an answer or a solution for you. So we're going to kind of skip over to, and of course, I'll go through all the clarifiers. Now, the Page of Cups is news again, or information that's coming through. So again, I feel like you are getting some kind of information. So now for some of you, this could also, if we're talking about love, this could also be some kind of analogy or something like that. But it is sort of followed up by the devil. So I feel like someone that represents as Cancer or Capricorn, and the Sword is here with the King of Pentacles. Somebody's got money. Somebody with a fair amount of money. Hi, interesting topic. Everything is a sandwich because everything is always between one word things. Love that. I'll have to use that. Um, you know what, Sleepy? I mean, it's, take it as it resonates. Like they actually use tarot cards, believe it or not, in therapy for psychology as well. And it's more that, for those of you that don't necessarily believe in the intuitive aspects, it actually is relevant to, dealing with the subconscious layers. A lot of times we don't address things on the surface level. And sometimes when we do artwork or when we hear cues or information or something like that, it resonates with us for a reason. It's because we haven't tapped into a part of ourselves, and this helps to sort of bring that out. So again, I mean, you can explore that and do a little more research on it, but again, it's whatever, however it resonates for you. So again, it can be just information about things that you underlying that you haven't actually dealt with, and that's why something appeals, or it can be that you're actually tapped into intuition. Now, I would say for me, I do feel like there is a level or a layering of intuition, that makes sense. And the reason why is because sometimes you can kind of test the cards. And I hate to say test, I mean, it's not really maybe a fair way of doing it, but asking when you know a certain outcome or a certain situation has a certain um, tends to go in a certain direction repeatedly. And if you constantly ask it from 18 different directions, and if you know how to read the cards, you'll see that it actually gives you the same sort of response or answer repeatedly to that same question. So, like I said, you can say that it's all garbage or whatever, but again, there's different layers to this as well. So, but I do believe that those of us that have actually had, and it's not to say that I am, there's different modalities, right? I'm a tarot reader, psychics, there's, mediums. Those are all other layers or aspects of things. So, and I've actually had people do psychometry where they've read my jewelry and they've been 100% accurate. And like I said, it's not on things that, um, It's not on things that, or have a gray area. It's something like, will I require a surgery? And, they say, yes, it'll be two surgeries. It'll be in this particular area. And that's not me giving them a lot of information. So it's things like them giving them a ring that was my grandmother's. And they knew without me saying anything, they're just holding the ring. That's your grandmother's ring. So there's some things that can't be explained. There's a lot of things out there that you have to really start to question, but you can't just always say, well, science explains everything, because science starts in the mind as an idea. It's not starting with solid science, it's starting with an idea, and then you kind of allow yourself to intuitively tap into a direction. So, like, anyway, I go off on tangents, but going back into the cards here for Aries. So, again, Page of Cups, this is sort of that new level of emotional, sort of experiences growing. But because it's by the I'm almost a little bit reluctant to say that it's like it could be more of a passionate sort of thing versus anything else that's more anything else that's more, I don't know, could say physical. Let's just say it's very physical. Could be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio also showing up here as well. But either way, there's some kind of a beginning, a new beginning. And again, it could be with a Capricorn, some of you. For others, this would be something that you just need to kind of be aware of. This could be an apology coming in from a Capricorn, something like that. But either way, I feel like there's news or information or something, new idea or something that's coming in. Now, I've got also the Six of Wands. So there's something here that feels like it's promising. So some kind of a gain, some kind of a win, something you were hoping for, a victory, however that resonates for you, it's moving forward. Something is going forward here. So there is something here, even on a physical level. This would be, kind of a hot, passionate sort of thing, but it's something you're trying to manifest. It's something that you are trying to make. It's not just something that just sort of shows up. It's something you're trying to physically make happen. So again, we'll kind of go through, but either way, again, for some of you, it's a job promotion, it's a raise or something of that sort. But either way, whatever that magic card is for you, it's something you have the ability or the skill set to do, and it is coming through for you. You're actually gaining some kind of traction there. Now, the magician and devil energy, to me, even though they're a little bit separate, kind of speaks to a bit of a manipulative energy. So I don't know if you're dealing with somebody who's a bit manipulative, or there's something like that, or there's just some kind of misunderstanding or miscommunication, or something like that. Hi, growth family. Yeah, I can answer a question. And hi, Black Diamond. You stumbled onto the channel and you love the education. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, like like I said, Page of Cups, it still feels like there's information coming in. Magician usually can be about, it's some dealing with your skill, practical world. Yet a lot of the stuff here I see is still, there's a lot of mental energy, but a lot of things that deal with hi, Abea. um I do have a Bible beside me, but I'm not going to look it up just because. And I know that's what you're meaning with the Romans. Right? But like I said, you have to take a lot of things in psychology, because a lot of things are. Hi, Black Time, and appreciate the subscription. Yeah, because a lot of things that are symbology are, it's speaking metaphorically. Like you can't take everything literally. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that don't seem to make sense, and yet they make in a greater scheme of things. So in a small scale, it doesn't make any sense. If somebody came at you and said, "Here's a pen," well, in a small sense, a pen is a pen. But if you go to put pen to paper, it can do something. It can draw. It can create. So when you're sitting there looking at something from a very narrow view, you don't actually get. I don't really do the psychic readings. I just do tarot readings, but I do feel, um, this is, I don't know, how do I put that? I feel connected to something in my own sort of way, and I've gone through some experiences, I would say, that have been very unusual, and so that's what's drawn me to tarot. Everybody comes to it for their own reasons. I want to go through my experience because, again, it's a personal thing, right? But as far as oh, sorry, just reading your question. Not familiar with tarot reading and what they are. Can you explain? Well, tarot readings are, I mean, again, there's not like 100, I mean, even when you study sort of the history on it, they don't know exactly where it came from. But believe it or not, even in the times of the pirates and all of that, they used to use cards as a means of exchange. Eventually, it kind of was used in the royalty and yeah, it was used in, in terms of, uh, sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by understand, but but either way, like I said, I mean, tarot is something that is unique to you. So for some people, Page of Cups means one thing. For others, it means something. When you correlate it to a bigger picture, it means something else entirely. So when you're looking at it as a one individual card, it can mean, what the actual card means. But when you tie it into the other cards, it changes the meaning in its totality. If that makes any sense, is that what you mean? Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, like I will go through it as far as the cards and kind of, yeah, break it down for you. So, as I said, I mean, what I was seeing here with the Four of Wands is we are dealing with thing, and again, I've got clarifiers to kind of pull it through, but the Four of Wands does speak to something around, and again, individually, they do mean, this is around your foundation, this is around your house, this can be a milestone, celebration, anything like, even graduation. It's something of that sort. But when you tie it in with another card, there's a big change around it with the Wheel of Fortune. Could be a fortuitous change, but it seems to be around a communication or information, something that's coming through on this level. Because the Ace of Swords is about getting an idea, it's about starting with some more information, getting clear on something, that kind of thing. So, again, there's a little bit of variation on the meanings, but when you see it tied together, it'll start to make more sense. You do your reading and your research, and then, like I say, everybody's a little bit different as how they've been to the cards. Because for Six of Wands, somebody might see this in more of a physical sense, and for others it is more of just a victory drawing attention. But again, how I kind of read it is I know the meanings of the cards, and then tying it in together just sort of makes sense when you see a lot of repeating cards. So if there's like a lot of twos or a lot of fours or a lot of kings and queens, if there's a lot of people in the cards, it'll be a lot of kings, queens, pages, that kind of thing. Kings are mature energy, knights, action oriented, pages are sort of in around a more immature energy, something of a neophyte, like a new start on something. Like you do your reading, and then you kind of let your intuition sort of fill in the blanks. So as to how they connect, that's, I guess, maybe the best way I can say it. Well, it's not so much about the cards having words. I mean, life is all about symbols. Like if you look around, you've got yin yang symbols, you've got longevity symbols, you've got, even the letters that they're all symbols. I mean, different languages have different symbols. Some of them don't say A, some of them will have like a drawing for like a Japanese language or a Chinese language. Or, there's symbols everywhere around you, and we give it the power. Like we give those symbols meanings, messages, and they're very different for each one of us. But when it's an actual language, it becomes limited. When it's an actual, when a symbol actually is taken in a broader sense, you can apply it to something that's more personal to you, right? So, I mean, that's how tarot is really read. So for some people, some image might stand out more so than another. So, in other words, if there's a person standing out here for me as it is, to me, this feels like it's a communication from a heart space. Even though the actual picture is there, maybe one element or one color stands out more than another, and those elements actually have some blended meanings. And then there's like synchronicities, when you start to see 444 and 1010 or 1111, like all those things have different meanings, and there's sort of a general meaning to them. But usually, whatever some people believe when you were just doing something and that synchronicity follows, it's kind of a key element to sort of highlight it. So again, there's 444. It's solid and stability and grounding. It's things like that. So I mean, there's like a lot to tarot. Like it layers in different ways. There's like the basic meaning of the cards, and then it kind of gets tiered up in different ways. And actually, to sort of expand on it, which I don't usually have a lot of patience time for right now, I really wanted to broaden it out. If you were to look at each card and meditate on it, then you start to see different images and start to connect it to the images that you're seeing. And that's how psychic symbology works as well. I have psychic friends, and sometimes what they'll see is something coming in from the right or the left means this or that, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was when it's coming in from the right, it's from the past, and I think when it's from the left, it's the future. Anyway, you have to check that, check, because I'm tired today. But it's things like that. Some people will see a rose and it means, not a rose. It means maybe a love offering. Other people might see a rose and it represents something else psychically for them. So again, it's understanding your symbols for you. But anyway, I'm way off track here. Okay, so back to you, Aries. Okay, so what's happening in July? Four of Wands, definitely a lot of feeling around the home front. Like I said, I feel like the beginning of July, you're going to be entertained with some kind of experience in terms of um, sorry, I was just reading Growth Families. What is the goal and reason to do tarot readings? Is it helping understand life, or what is the goal? Okay, well, the goal actually really is, again, because they do use this in tarot is actually often used as a medium, if you will, for therapies in psychology, as I mentioned earlier. So a lot of times when somebody can't has gone through a lot of pain or a lot of hurt and they can't put it into words, they can't face, sometimes they can face it in an image. And that's what they do with children when they're trying to get children to draw something or point to something because they can't say it, or it brings back too much pain, and certainly even in sexual cases or whatever, things that sort, people remember hearing sounds or heightened senses, but that can also create, dangerous situations for them, because even though heightened sounds and this thing can create a trigger, they don't see all the other dangers around them. And so that's why it's important to work through things. Tarot is one of those representations. So it's one of those things, when you see a symbol, it helps you to kind of work through things in a gradual way. So there is lots of meaning and goal in tarot for, again, lots of layered meaning. So anyway, I shouldn't go too far off, because I mean, I do have to do the Aries before my phone is dead. Um, but anyway, for Aries, like I said, I do feel like this is some kind of separation around the home. It's bringing a positive change, karmic shift, new cycles, something like that with the Wheel of Fortune. Fate is turning in your favor, and it's some kind of unexpected opportunity or blessing, and you're getting some kind of communication about it as well. Now, there is emotional message, as I said, with the page, and this is still around, could be an apology, could be some kind of creative thing here as well, but it's also a kind of a romantic gesture. But because it's next to the devil, I feel like it's been, some kind of toxic thing that kind of went on there, whether it was an addictive behavior, or negative behavior, or somebody, not, you know, appropriately conducting themselves, or get an unhealthy attachment, something like that. So we're going to resonate a little differently for all of you. But I don't feel like it's undermining your progress in any way, because I feel like the cards overall are quite positive. Now, again, this could represent Capricorn person here as well, but I still feel like there's a lot here about handling challenges with that inner courage and peace and that kind of thing, because Strength card, you're really pushing through. And I feel like you're dealing with somebody who has money. This is a mature aspect. This is somebody, oh, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hopefully it was a little bit of insight. It's not like a lot, but um sorry, just responding to Growth Family again. You have one more question. Okay. So, but yeah, like I said, the King of Pentacles still speaks to somebody who's got financial stability. This is somebody who knows what to do with money. This is somebody who's practical in the way that they deal with their life. Again, it's a mature energy, somebody who is comfortable and confident about themselves. They know how to manage resources, all of that. And again, this could be a business person or business opportunity. And then we have the following that, like I said, was the Six of Wands. So there's something there about a victory, a recognition. And this, again, is the individual cards, and we'll kind of tie it together. Um, oh, hi, Black Diamond. Yeah, I do have Lenormand cards, but I have to look for things. Can we sort of Okay, growth family. So yeah, so Six of Wands is some kind of effort that you're being acknowledged for. Somebody is really starting to notice something of the efforts that you're putting in. So there's some kind of appreciation there. Now, the bottom of the deck was the Page of Swords. That is the overall residing energy around all of this, and that speaks to kind of curiosity, learning. Somebody could be watching you, is an observation, but it's also an open communication that's taking place. But it still means gathering information and researching something. Or again, you're receiving important messages this month, which I feel is very strongly an aspect because of the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Ace of Swords. So I feel like it's really important information that's communicated to you, and I feel like it's definitely affecting. And I feel like something that you have been, like I said, it's coming through here for you. Could be around finances here as well, given the practical cards that are here, but I still feel like there's a bit of a celebration for you that's coming in, and I feel like that's, inviting, and it's social life, and it's positive gift, it's all of that. I still feel like there might be some temptation, toxic pattern, or somebody that you're dealing with that could be that way or a bit manipulative, but I feel like you overcome the obstacle just because you just know how to handle them in some way. So it's really good success in terms of your finances. You're celebrating a milestone. I feel like you have less uncertainty now going forward with this information. And I feel like you're recognizing some kind of information or self sabotaging pattern with that devil in there. But I feel like you've got more practical wisdom, something to go forward with that helps you to stay focused and create and communicate and kind of get things done and build your, arsenal of information. So either way, Aries, I just feel like got a lot of there's good stuff coming in for you this month. And again, even it feels like it's more around information. I mean, there might be like a warm, receptive kind of communication there in terms of the Page of Cups with a love interest situation, but I don't know, it's just too much around money being kind of, and your stability being important to you, and you're waiting on information. So that's what I see there. Okay, so I will pull a card. What was your other question there, Growth Family? Well, you know what? I never really did get the pendulum, Black Diamond. I mean, I've seen, but I'm not really sure how to operate that just yet. So, I mean, it's something I'd have to kind of, I just have so little time with the things that I do that maybe have something to kind of check back into. Growth Family, what was your question? You really want to learn to practice. When you have the time, can you tell? Okay, how you can start is definitely there's books for sure. Even going on with resources, looking up, what the page means with the, and again, it's you want the basic beginner, because once you have sort of the beginner foundation, then you start to be able to sort of layer it after that, because it's the combinations that will have a lot more meaning to you um, once the basics have been met. And then, like I said, sort of final stage would be kind of, well, you could even take it further, but Ace of Pentacles would be, you could meditate on that, put it under your pillow, sort of focus on the images, however it kind of comes to you. And then that way you start to, but yeah, you do memorize the cards. Oh, it's actually easier to memorize than you think. I mean, when I did it, you just get used to it. I don't know how to explain it that way, because again, it's unique for everybody. Let's just pull one card, Aries, as far as advice. What's coming in for advice for Aries for the month of July? Best advice for Aries in the month of July. Best advice. Joy and contentment. And yes. And what is the yes to? You have something coming in for sure. It's going to be good news for you. And that is around vulnerability and freedom. Interesting. Okay, well, let me just see what the book says on this one. Okay, so this is the Angel Guide Kyle Gray Oracle Guidebook, and the cards of joy and contentment, yes, vulnerability, and freedom. Let's see what our book says. Okay, so on this one, oh, you're right. I have to do Virgos. Oh, well, I gotta wait till my phone recharges before I kind of head into that one. But I do have a couple of them out here at least tonight. But I promise I will do Virgo over the weekend. But this is joy and contentment. So anything around embracing, simple life and, inner peace and happiness, it's coming from within. It's not external achievement. So it's you just feeling pretty good overall with small blessings and taking time out for yourself. Is really what that kind of speaks to. But whatever it is your question, whatever you wanted, this is about you being supported and being more confident in the direction of that. But because it's around vulnerability and freedom, I would say this is kind of telling you that you are feeling more, you're able to release that protective guard around yourself. You've got walls up, and it just helps you to sort of feel more free in this period. So true freedom comes from you allowing yourself to be just who you are without fear of judgment. And vulnerability is your strength, and it's that gateway gateway to liberation. So excellent cards. But again, overall, you're moving forward with confidence. You have a clear yes, something is coming in, something that you've wanted. And it's just a reminder to, kind of live your path and in flow, be your authentic self. So that's what I have for you. And I was going to say one other thing there for growth family, just in learning the cards. Like I say, there's so many layers because when you deal with anything that's around pentacles, that's kind of the boss dealing with health as well. And I mean, if I wanted to look at that aspect, I could. I just chose not to just because of the time frame as well. But sometimes I throw it in. But I mean, and the major arcana are different from the smaller ones. Like the major arcana usually have more to do with impacts, a stronger impact on your reads. But anything that's, ace is the beginning and the new of things, and everything evolves to the fool. Like it's following the path of the hero, believe it's called. So it's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and every petals, wands, cups, and swords all have 10 aspects. And so it's like you're moving through these as a human being. We go through all of these lessons, and each month there might be something different that you focus on. It might take you 6 months where you're focusing just wands, action taking, or you're focusing more so on money aspects, but it's kind of breaking it up in those areas. So I don't know, hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight, but I just find them fascinating and I find them really interesting to explore. And you learn a little bit about yourself and life as well. And again, sometimes when you also look at them in terms of advice, and it's different meaning entirely from just looking at it from an aspect of health, for example. So, like I said, there's a lot of layered meanings. But hopefully that gives you a little insight, Aries. And for those that are just new to the channel, keep keep moving forward, and we'll see you in the next one. I'll try to get Virgo out here in the next little bit as well. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining, and really appreciate the subscriptions and the support.